I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Oh, yeah.
This podcast has been recorded well before its published date.
Yes.
We've canned this one in the event neither of us can meet our obligations during normal recording hours.
That's right.
So hopefully nothing major has happened. But I did want to mention we've seen a recent spike in followers on Spotify, which is this podcast.
Oh.
So that's nice. Welcome to all of those people. I'm assuming they're new listeners. So I thought it might be interesting since we have 260 plus episodes to go over our top 10 most streamed episodes. So that could be like a starting point to catch up.
Okay.
I also think it'll be fun because who knows what I'll remember.
That's true. And, you know, we have our 300th is reserved for
Godfather 3.
Yes. Because our 100th was Godfather.
That's right.
200th, Godfather 2.
That's right. Okay, our number 10 most streamed podcast episode is episode 216, Nas and Malik.
Really?
All I know about that movie is it's about two young gay black men who I believe are Muslim.
Yes.
And sort of them dealing with life in the city. They're two little hustlers.
I think I picked that one.
Did you?
I think.
I recall not liking it.
Same.
And I think the filmmaker had no adjacency to the subjects or the story he was trying to tell. So it feels...
Maybe you picked that one then.
Oh.
I don't know. Jay Dockendorf was the director.
That's all I remember.
Anyway.
Number 9 is episode 88, Eyes Wide Shut.
That would have been me because I read the book in anticipation of it.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Stanley Kubrick.
Do you have all the complete works of Stanley Kubrick?
Starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
That's right.
I don't recall what I thought of that movie.
Really? I love that film.
Our 8th most streamed podcast episode is episode 102, Swarm. That was a series about a fanatic.
Yes, Donald Glover.
The artist she is obsessed with is supposed to be Beyonce.
Yes.
Even though it's never said.
That was your choice.
Number 7 is episode 133, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover.
Mm-hmm.
I know it stars Helen Mirren.
Yes.
And I know there is a scene where someone's penis is eaten.
Mm-hmm. Director Peter Greenaway, my favorite Greenaway film. I chose that. That is a film I adore.
Number 6 is episode 100, The Godfather.
Speak of the devil.
That review is my first time seeing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall really liking it. Number 5 is episode number 75, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, where we talk about that Ryan Murphy series.
Oh, yes.
Number 4 is episode 212. That one's titled Cannes Musings. I think it's one of those updates while you're at Cannes at the halfway point telling us about what's going on.
Mm-hmm. What year was that? Oh, you don't know.
Well, if it's number 212, that had to have been Cannes 2025.
Oh, a year ago.
Last year's Cannes. The 3rd most streamed episode is episode 217, Noah's Ark, the movie. Yeah, people weren't happy that we didn't like that movie. And the star of that series and movie, I don't remember his name.
Noah?
Oh, yes, the titular character.
Mm-hmm.
His name starts with a D, I think. I should look it up.
No, it's not Doug Spearman.
Daryl Stevens.
Daryl Stevens, yes. I was on a flight to Cannes one year, and he had a conversation with me. Anyway,
I see Daryl Stevens at the gym all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a little nervous. Like, I wonder if he recognizes me for talking shit about that movie.
Well, it's not very good.
Although it's a podcast, and the thumbnail for the video is our cartoon faces. So maybe not, but...
My Joker face, my poker face.
Our number 2 most streamed podcast episode is number 214, The Talented Mr. Ripley, starring a very handsome
Matt Damon.
Well, no, the one I like better, Jude Law.
Oh, Jude Law.
Although Matt Damon's very cute in the movie.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Blanchett, Anthony Minghella.
No one remembers Gwyneth Paltrow.
directed by the late, great Anthony Minghella, based on the novel by
Push.
Patricia Highsmith. And that, I believe that was my selection as well.
Our most streamed podcast episode. I don't even know what this movie is. I'd be surprised if you can guess. Can you take a guess at what you think it is?
No.
It's episode number 139.
Okay.
And the movie was called Prancer.
What do you mean? The Christmas movie about Santa's reindeer.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Baby, I have no idea what this is. I watched a Christmas movie about a reindeer.
Yeah, with Sam Elliott as the dad and Cloris Leachman as the crazy lady next door. And it's that little girl, her mom has died. And
Britannia Alda's in it?
Yes, she is.
Wow, I don't know anything about this.
Abe Vigoda, where Prancer, crash lands and the girl rescues it.
Yes, I do remember.
It's a lovely little film. I was a wee baron when I saw it first.
Well, that's our number one streamed and downloaded episode.
Okay.
Maybe it's because people were at home for the holidays. But that was 2 Christmases ago.
Huh. Well.
Wow. Okay.
One never can tell.
Hard transition. Oh. My Instagram feed is like, the Just For You is very interesting, but it's evolved over the last year because you like to send me videos of foxes and otters.
Yes.
And so now I've gone down my own little rabbit hole and I like to watch videos of caracles.
I used to send you those too because I was haunted by wanting one at one point.
Oh, well.
We can't get one of those.
No, the one thing I've learned watching these damn caracal videos, and for people who don't know, caracals, I don't think they're domesticated cats, but people have them, and they look like mountain lions.
A lot of those videos seem to come from Russia.
They're big.
Mm-hmm.
These don't look or sound safe. And every video of a caracal is them hissing at the owner.
Basically.
So,
But they have these beautiful ears, and when they hiss, when they flare,
no, that's a warning.
Look like a feline from Jurassic Park.
They're hard not to watch because they're such beautiful creatures, but all it screams to me is they do not belong in anyone's apartment/house.
I'll settle for an otter.
The secret film this week was Nick's choice, and Nick chose the 1976 neo-noir psychological drama Taxi Driver, directed by a Martin Scorsese and written by a Paul Schrader. It stars Robert De Niro and a very young Jodie Foster.
And Cybill Shepherd.
Cybill Shepherd's in it. Harvey Keitel, Albert Brooks.
Yes.
Peter Boyle, who I thought you were talking about someone else. Because the first time we see Peter Boyle's character, he's at a table with other men.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you're wont to do every 10 seconds during a movie, is shout out things. You're like, Peter Boyle, that's him. You know him. I don't know him. Because I thought you were talking about a different man.
Oh.
And you kept shouting out things I should know him from.
The one that had Errol Flynn's bathtub?
I could not place the man who I thought you were talking about. But once I looked up who Peter Boyle is, yes, I recognize Peter Boyle.
Okay.
What is the movie about? A mentally unstable veteran works as a nighttime taxi driver in New York City, where the perceived decadence and sleaze fuels his urge for violent action. Why did you choose this film?
I haven't seen it in many years, and you had never seen it. It's one of many greats that you haven't been exposed to, and
you think it's your job to.
We can't have you not having ever seen Taxi Driver. That's also a bit in that movie, The TV Set, where Judy Greer, David Duchovny's assistant, she's like, okay, I'll watch The Taxi Driver. He's like, it's not The Taxi Driver. But I mean, this is an excellent film, an iconic film, one of several iconic films from Martin Scorsese. So I'd been meaning for you to watch this for a long time, and it seemed like it needed to be done.
As you said, I had never seen it. I had no clue what this movie was about, but when I was a kid, I remember a TV show called Taxi.
Yes.
And I recall watching a few episodes, and I liked it because my mom and I would watch Who's the Boss, and I knew I liked Tony Danza, and Tony Danza's in Taxi.
As is Charlie Kaufman.
So I think I thought Taxi Driver was the movie Taxi is based on. I was thinking I was getting a comedy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no.
Taxi Driver is not a comedy. It's very dark, very upsetting.
It's seeing it as a teenager. I probably was in junior high the first time I saw it, had it on VHS. Watching it now as a whole ass adult with experiences, I found this infinitely more troubling than I remembered it as a teenager.
The instant the film starts, I knew we were going to a low place, but
A sunken place, if you will.
but I had no idea how low we were going to go.
Arguably, it could have gotten lower, but I think, the script from Paul Schrader, Travis Bickle is in keeping with the same patterns as a lot of his guilt-ridden characters. So, and there's arguably, it's like a lot of Schrader's later works, there is a path or a moment of potential redemption in the finale. I think this is much more murky.
The story, it revolves around Travis Bickle, played by Robert De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, he seems like a lonely man who's disconnected from society. He takes a job as a cab driver at night, which exposes him to crime, prostitution, this decaying New York City. He also becomes obsessed with this idea that the city is filthy and needs to be cleansed.
Yes. Okay.
So this obsession grows.
An avenging angel.
Travis then meets Betsy, played by a very young, beautiful Cybill Shepherd. And she's a campaign worker for a senator running for president.
Mm-hmm.
He starts to idealize her as being pure and angelic and becomes obsessed with her.
But also in need of saving, at least how he approaches her.
But their relationship collapses when he takes her to a porn theater.
On a date, yeah.
On a date, which just shows how out of touch he is with normal social behaviors.
Yes.
Then we get this descent into violence because Travis becomes increasingly more paranoid and rage-filled. He basically crafts this manifesto about needing to be cleansed himself and like in fighting shape. So he starts working out intensely. He buys a bunch of guns, goes to target practicing, and then almost takes on this vigilante persona.
Yes.
Of course, as the audience, we can see that this is building up to some violent act. He goes to a political rally for this senator running for president, and it's Senator Palantine. Did you recognize that actor?
No, he wasn't in too many other things. Leonard Harris, although that name kept making me think of Star Wars and General Palpatine.
Of course, when he shows up at this rally, your first thought is, oh my gosh, he's going to shoot up the rally. At bare minimum, he's going to try to kill Betsy's ass, maybe Betsy and the senator. But thankfully, sometime earlier, he had done some recon and gone to another rally for Senator Palantine.
Not very well. Unfortunately, Mr. Bickle is not the brightest bulb.
No. And Secret Service doesn't even have to clock him because this dummy walks up to Secret Service and starts talking, but he seems crazy. And Secret Service is like, oh, yeah, you'd make a great agent. Why don't you give me your name and address?
Right.
And I'll send you an application.
Slick.
Travis is smart enough not to give his real information, but he's on their radar. So when he goes back towards the end, and we use this word radicalized when we were watching it, I don't know that he fits the definition since he doesn't seem to have any allegiance to anything. But now that he's radicalized at this rally, Secret Service clocks his ass, and so they scurry him away. So that's good. He doesn't do anything. While all of this is happening, Travis has become fixated on this 12-year-old prostitute, Iris, played by Jodie Foster.
Whose street name is Easy.
Which is very upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
But Travis goes into full Captain Save-A-Ho mode.
Oh, yes.
He puts his energy towards trying to get Iris off the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we get to our climactic ending, which I'll save. But yeah, this movie was not what I was expecting. First off, Robert De Niro does a fabulous job. And this is hot off his Academy Award for Godfather, right?
Godfather 2. And I didn't know because I was looking up stuff as we were watching it. He was filming Bertolucci's 1900, and he was flying back and forth from Italy to make this film.
Oh, wow.
So
is 1900 good?
I've never seen that. It's 5 hours.
Oh, well, I guess I never will.
Well, wow. Well, that might be a podcast film now.
It'll be 2 podcasts.
Okay, well,
I'm not watching a 5-hour movie.
They had a restoration that I'm kicking I mean, it's so hard to watch something 5 hours in a row with our schedules. But yes, it's Bertolucci, and it's I've heard that it's a masterpiece, and one day I finally will watch it.
Before I get to the ending and the themes, I want to just go through my notes. In the opening, when Travis goes to the cab company to get a job, the man, I guess, in charge of hiring is a little impatient because I'm sure he sees a lot of riffraff trying to get a job who aren't who they say they are.
Mm-hmm.
But he warms up to Travis when Travis mentions he's a Marine
Mm-hmm.
and he was honorably discharged. We can assume, I think safely, that based on the time period and a haircut he dons later in the film, that he probably saw some pretty terrible things.
Yes.
While in battle.
Mm-hmm.
And by today's standards, suffers from some sort of PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
But you said something funny, because when the cab guy says, fine, I'll give you a chance, fill this paperwork out, come back tomorrow, he tells him, like, well, you're not allowed to do this and that, and no moonlighting.
Yeah.
And Travis doesn't know what moonlighting means. He has to ask, which of course is funny because Cybill Shepherd would then star in the TV show Moonlighting.
And it's perfect casting for Cybill Shepherd as literally being out of his league. Her signature role is something he doesn't even know what that means. Did you recognize the taxi cab personnel man?
Maybe a little bit.
Joe Spinell.
Is he that serial killer in that Australian truck movie?
No.
Oh, who is that?
Australian truck movie, Wolf? Oh, are you talking about the one with Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis?
I'm talking about Stacy Keach.
Oh yeah, no. Road Games, I think. No, I love that film. Maniac.
He's Maniac?
He's Maniac.
Oh, I recognize those eyes, maybe.
Yes, and of course you always reference, I think you remember, we have a review for that Blu-ray out there from years ago. But
put her in a bra.
You remember the Elijah Wood remake that you seem to like.
Well, you know I like Elijah Wood.
He's also Gatso in Rocky.
Oh.
The one that, remember in the beginning of Rocky?
Oh, the one who helps him?
Well, he's the one, like, Rocky is kind of selling drugs for him or something.
Yeah, he helps him.
Yeah, he's helpful to him, but, on the wrong side of the law.
Sure. Oh, gosh. Travis spies Cybill Shepherd, Betsy. She has a very forward-facing job because her office is like on a main street in a glass window, so he's constantly driving by, glaring at her. Mm-hmm. He knows she works for the Palatine campaign. Mm-hmm. When one night, guess who gets into Travis's cab? Senator Palatine. And they have a very uncomfortable conversation.
Well, especially because Palatine sure sounds like a fake-ass politician.
Sure, but also Travis sounds like an ignorant-ass man just trying to, who knows what he's trying to do.
Well, right, but that's 50% of every Uber or Lyft I get in, somebody saying some bullshit like that these days.
When Travis goes to push up on Cybill, he just walks right into the campaign office, and Al Brooks is kind of her work buddy.
Yes.
And he tries to stop Travis, but Travis kind of pushes him away. And he basically asks Betsy on a date, and she agrees. And we see them hang out once, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Enough.
He's normal enough. I mean, there are red flags there, but it's difficult to be approached by anybody, especially as good looking as Cybill Shepherd. I've imagined that people are so forward that they have the confidence to do so, I'm sure. So they're either crazy or they're cocky. It's, so she can't quite tell which one he is, and she's intrigued.
But when he takes her to go see that porno, which was called Sometimes Sweet Susan,
which is, they had posters for all kinds of other regular films.
Well, wasn't there there was a movie, a mainstream movie that we saw in one marquee,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Sometimes Sweet Susan, we watch a couple scenes from it in the film, and it looks depraved.
It does.
I know it's the 70s, so they weren't shooting, these Skinemax with the soft lighting and whatever. But yeah,
this is grunge. Yeah.
Why on God's green earth? Except that we had already seen that he likes to go to the porno theater, and the first time we see him go, he's trying to push up on the lady working at the counter,
who's played by Diane Abbott, who would become his first wife.
So we see that he's awkward and doesn't quite understand that this is not the place to try to hit on the staff, certainly not the place to bring a date. And when she gets upset, because at first the movie we see it and it looks like some grungy picture with this lady talking to these men, but then all of a sudden we see there's like an orgy happening and Cybill just gets up. Like, excuse me, pardon me, I gotta go. And Travis, seems so confused. And, I felt bad for him because I genuinely believe that he doesn't see what the problem is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of flabbergasted because he says she has reservations at the beginning. She's like, "This is an adult film," and he's like, "Oh yeah, but there are lots of couples that come here," and he probably does see all kinds of odd assortments of people when he goes to
Right.
stay awake at these venues.
Normal is what you know.
He's
as Eddie from Ab Fab said. Okay, I think the first scene that really made me uncomfortable is Martin Scorsese's in the film.
Yes.
He plays a man who is one of Travis's passengers in the cab.
I think he's in 2 scenes, but this is his speaking part, yeah.
Oh, sure. He goes for a ride, has Travis pull up in front of this house, and Travis is getting ready to try to leave when the passenger gets upset. Like, no, you're going to stay here. I'll pay you. Don't turn off the meter. Like, I want to park right here. And then he starts talking about, look at that house, look in that window. You see that lady? That's my wife. She's having an affair with some N-word, and I'm going to kill her. And he describes
the gun he's going to use. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And poor Travis just sitting there like, okay, man. But that's kind of the first moment where I realized, oh, this troubled man is absorbing all of this chaos.
Yes.
And it has nowhere to place it.
And he's kind of, I think Schrader described when he came upon the taxi being a mechanism for this character, this metal coffin hurtling through the streets, and it, but also is in a constant state of alienation, isolation. And I think that's what's so sad about Travis is the scene that you just mentioned with Diane Abbott, who De Niro would actually marry. That scene bothered me because it's so inappropriate, but he's also curious and he wants to make connections. But we're just living in a time and place where those things aren't possible anymore. Like the city has worn away everybody's humanity, and you can see that he's really trying hard to keep on to a semblance of his. And I think that's what's most troubling, to watch that kind of go away.
Well, speaking of connections, there's a scene right after the Scorsese scene where Travis tries to talk to Peter Boyle.
Wizard.
And he basically tells him man, I don't know. Shit is crazy. I feel like I'm going to do something.
I'm having really bad thoughts, I think he says.
Just every flag is marked oh my gosh, this person needs help. And Peter Boyle's character tries to give him a word or two, which ultimately Travis responds by saying, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And Peter Boyle says, well, I'm just a cab driver. What do I know? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
That was the scene that really, to me, is the essence of what this man's story is about. That people feel, because I think it's often said about myself that I'm a loner, which I am, but I don't think I'm a lonely person. Mm-hmm. And I have an outlet to engage, so I don't feel deprived in that way. But some people, their loneliness is very deeply connected with feeling misunderstood.
Yeah, I think Schrader had something to say that when he started out writing it, loneliness was the problem, but it developed into loneliness as a pathology.
Well, it's an interesting combination because I would imagine that people who become part of that cycle, no one understands me, so I don't connect with people, and then me not connecting with people make it difficult for me to communicate, which then leads me to be misunderstood.
Yes.
That eventually creates these different pathways for abnormal behaviors.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, he's not sleeping.
He's sleep deprived. Also, he talks about his stomach hurting, but his diet is trash. He eats like a raccoon. We see him at one point, he's making some kind of concoction with honey and bread and milk and something else on top. Oh my God. But yes, this cycle, and then there's no outlet. This is the mid 70s. He's a veteran in New York City. I'm assuming access to any kind of resources combined with whatever lack of advancements that were made in psychiatry and pharmacology. I don't know what would have been available for this man. But who is he supposed to talk to? Where is he supposed to go?
Well, and the city itself looks like it's about to implode.
Right. Everything feels so bleak.
All those, you know, because basically there's some kind of guerrilla style filmmaking going on, I think. But yeah, that's what also I love about the film too, is capturing, you know, a certain time in New York. There's all these huge buildings that have been abandoned and kind of taken over by, you know, the criminal elements as flop houses, and you know, they're capturing a city that has been significantly cleaned up since then, of course. But there's a lot of what's going on in Taxi Driver that also seems to be speaking to today, even, which I think left me with kind of a hopeless feeling watching it the other night. Is there's a lot of things that are speaking to right now.
There's a scene where Travis meets up with a guy, and we learn he's attempting to buy a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And the man is showing him different guns and trying to clock what kind of gun owner he would be.
Because you need a gun.
When Travis goes, "Oh, I'm buying all of them." And that's when I knew we were in trouble, because that's crazy. You don't need to buy all these guns right now. We then see him going to target practice. That's when he talks about having to be in fighting forms.
And by talking, you mean we're hearing omniscient narration from his diary.
Right. I didn't mention that we do hear Travis narrating entries from his diary. But he appears to get into better shape. Like, he's very lean, almost kind of scarily thin.
Yes.
And then there's a scene from this movie I didn't recognize was from this movie, but it's after Travis has gotten on this strict regimen and has his guns, that he appears to be looking into a mirror. And that's where we get the scene. You talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
You talking to me? I had no idea this was the movie that was from.
Yeah. Iconic, that moment.
But where things take a real turn is one night, Travis is at a convenience store and it's being robbed by this black man.
Yes.
And Travis has a gun on him and he shoots that man, thinking that he's helping.
Yeah.
Probably what's more upsetting is the way the convenience store owner reacts, because he says, "Don't worry about it. Get out of here. This is the, 5th time this year or something."
Mm-hmm.
And then proceeds to beat that man. Like,
yeah, that's a character actor, Victor Argo, who you've seen his face in many things. But yeah, that's just as troubling as the shooting the guy.
Another eerie moment is we see Travis sending his parents a greetings card for their anniversary. Well, he writes this long message.
A combination.
It wasn't a combination. It's kind of like the other day I posted a meme saying, like, I can't keep up with everyone's birthday, so happy birthday to everyone forever. Like, right. That was kind of the greetings card he sent. Like,
right. I hope no one's died.
But he paints this picture of, like, everything's going well. Don't worry about me. It's like, actually, everything's not going well and we should be worried.
I have a secret job for the government. You can't have my address.
I have a girlfriend, but, like, that's not true.
Named Betsy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jodie Foster. We're going to get to, well, we can probably talk about it now. Do we know how old she was when she filmed this movie? She was under 14. Her character is supposed to be 12 and a half, and she is a street hooker. And yes. Her pimp is played by Harvey Keitel, who you've mentioned before that when you first saw the film, you thought he was attractive.
I did, because I think he is. I mean, that hair is atrocious. But
I think he looks like a sexy Tommy Wiseau.
Yes.
I would not have sex with Tommy Wiseau. I would have sex with Harvey Keitel.
And Jodie was apparently 12. Mm-hmm.
So and that's disturbing on its own.
Had already worked with Scorsese in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Which we have a podcast for that as well.
And Jodie was nominated for an Academy Award for this role.
Yes, her first. There's a lot of controversy about her casting too.
I would imagine. But I mean, it's like there are underage sex workers, and I guess, you know, I read that they did use body doubles in some scenes, but there are some scenes where it had to be her, and even what she was doing in those scenes I found upsetting. But
it is upsetting. And then I think Scorsese had mentioned, you know, so many people have talked about this, including everybody involved in it, for just decades now, but So there's so much floating out there about it. But he said that he didn't quite know how to direct her, so he would tell De Niro what he wanted. So De Niro kind of ended up being her mentor.
Oh,
And I think that experience shaped a lot of Jodie Foster's early career.
I wonder if she and De Niro have like a friendly relationship.
I would imagine so.
Did they ever work together again?
Oh God, I'd have to think about that. I don't.
Well, at this point, Travis, De Niro's character, has been kind of stalking Jodie Foster's Iris.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, he tries to go talk to her, which is so awkward. It's like, she's a streetwalker. Like, she doesn't want to have a conversation. And even though she's a child, she's quick to be like, okay, well, if you want to spend some time, you need to go talk to that guy over there, Harvey Keitel. And he sets up a date, which is so just, they go to this trashy by the hour hotel, and they get in there, and watching Jodie Foster, who keeps saying like, don't you want to make it? Don't you want to make it with me? Let's make it. Like, oh, and
which is so sad. And they give her these cute little, her hair is curls.
She looks cute, but then it's funny knowing the person Jodie Foster turned into.
Right.
Like, who I really like. But
yeah, same.
Thinking that her earlier roles were so different from, I mean, most actors are playing roles that are very different from them, but these are kind of extreme. Anyway, De Niro, yeah, he goes into full Captain Save-A-Ho mode, and she's confused. And like, what do you mean? You need to like do what you came up here to do. But then we cut to Iris sort of questioning her existence, which is so depressing. Like, I'm 12 and a half. This is the life I have. And I'm having this sort of existential crisis of like, what should I do next? But there's a moment when we see Jodie Foster with Harvey Keitel, and he can sense, because of what she's saying, that maybe, because she says something to the effect of like, maybe she doesn't want to be on the streets. And then we see him trying to romance her.
Yeah, because he's her pimp and her lover, because that's.
Well, I mean, is she his bottom bitch? Because that's crazy. If she's like.
Some iceberg
Not
slim.
your bottom bitch being 12 and a half years old.
Iceberg slim here. Or ice. Apparently, I don't know that this was on purpose, but the film has been compared a lot to the John Wayne film, The Searchers, in which a plot point to that is the search for this young white girl that has been abducted by some indigenous peoples. And the question that nobody's really asking directly is, do we want her back? Because most likely she's been ruined sexually. And Iris so much kind of says that too, like, my parents wouldn't want me back now.
Right. Well, let's get to the ending. So after Travis's failed attempt at whatever he thought his crazy ass was going to do at Senator Palatine's rally, he then makes his way to the pimp crack house Harvey Keitel works as the doorman at, where we know Jodie Foster's Iris is upstairs turning a trick. It's also at this point, Travis Bickle has shaved his head into a mohawk.
Right.
He shows up. Harvey Keitel doesn't recognize him. Travis also knows Jodie Foster's character's real name. So when he goes to see Harvey Keitel, he asks, where is
Iris?
Right, Iris. Because what was her street name?
Easy.
Easy, that's right. Oh, God.
Easy Rollins.
I think I blocked that. Like, oh, that's so terrible. But they get into a little situation, and Robert De Niro shoots Harvey Keitel in the gut.
Yeah.
And the sound he makes reminded me of that grape stomping lady.
Well, because part of it's shock almost too. Like, yeah. Damn.
But the end of this movie is a full-on shootout in this. I don't know. I mean, would it be a trap house? I don't know what the hell this place is.
It's a flop house. Yeah. Yeah.
But Robert shoots Harvey. Travis Bickle shoots. What is Harvey Keitel's character's name?
Isn't it Spider?
Oh, God. Is his name Spider?
No, what is his name?
Not Spider.
Oh, because Jodie has a nickname for him.
Oh, she calls him Sport.
Yes, not Spider. Yes. Sorry.
Spider would have been fun, though. Okay, so Travis shoots Sport in the belly. Then Travis shoots someone's fingers off.
Yeah, because there's somebody taking money before they can go into the room.
Then Harvey, who's not dead, shoots Travis in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Then the man who Travis shot his fingers off, he then stabs him in the hand and then shoots him in the head. Travis then tries to kill himself, all while Jodie Foster's Easy is watching and crying hysterically. Travis tries to kill himself, but the gun is out of bullets.
Don't forget, he also killed her current client.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about
Who's
that.
like a mafioso who also had a gun.
So it's a bloodbath in
Yes.
there. We hear the police show up. And then here's the gag of the story. The news breaks and we see all these articles, and Travis is a hero. All the headlines are like, NYC cab driver hero saves young girl, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fully recovered. Months have passed because his hair's grown out. We see Iris's parents have written Travis a very long letter, basically thanking him for saving their daughter. The final moment is he's back at work. He gets a fare, and guess who it is? Betsy, Cybill Shepherd's character. And she clearly is aware that he is now this hero. So she's kind of trying to talk to him, and he kind of blows her off, drops her off at her house, and drives off. The end. You were telling me.
Well, it's also indicated that he sees something in the rearview mirror, and I think that's supposed to indicate that clearly all is not well, and he's a hair's trigger away from exploding still.
Well, that relates to some people's interpretation of the ending, because they thought that perhaps the ending is a dream.
It's his dying thoughts.
That he was killed in that trap house massacre, but his final thought is that maybe he was a hero and that he got to reconnect with Cybill. But then you said the writer-director said that's not what they intended.
Yeah, I believe that they welcome those interpretations, but that wasn't really what they were indicating. You know, for years there was talk of them making a sequel, and it sounds like there'd be some traction, and then they'd all decide this is a really bad idea to do that.
I am glad they didn't. This is the kind of story that needs to be left where it is.
Yes.
Not because they couldn't do a good job, but I think let's talk about, what do you see Travis's future being like after this incident?
I think that he is going to commit another violent act, and the next time it wouldn't be seen as heroic. I think he's a bomb waiting to explode still.
I agree.
And now that he has received kind of positive feedback for it, I think he's going to get sloppy real quick. I would see him as somebody that died not long after the credits roll.
I would also use the bomb metaphor in that what we witnessed in this 2-hour film is a timer going off, and him not dying and being labeled a hero simply reset the timer.
Yes.
But next time it goes off, it's going to be way worse.
Because how has he been rehabilitated at all?
Not at all.
He's not going to be able to make any kind of normal connections with women or others. Another thought I had is, the little ersatz group of colleagues that are also cab drivers that meet up in this desolate little hovel of a cafe. It's like, oh, what if there could have been a sense of community there? Kind of like that Joel Schumacher film, DC Cab.
Or like the TV show Taxi.
Or but all these things, these kind of depictions of that at around the same time.
Well, and creepily, they give Travis a nickname. They call his ass Killer.
Yeah,
which is
he's also a person that picks up anybody. He talks. The narration early on is that he isn't discriminating, and it's funny. Even Peter Boyle talking Wizard. It's these arguably working class citizens, because Peter Boyle talks about picking up two gay guys and them arguing with each other in the car, and the way he speaks about them is not totally disparaging,
right?
Like this is a country of free people, so you should be able to live the life you want. I mean, it's a conversation of toleration, which is still he's not an ally, but at the same time, there's that sense. And then his that other driver says, like, you should tell the ferries to move to California, because if they break up, then
one has to pay.
They'll get alimony. And they're like, yeah, California's way ahead of the curve, isn't it? Okay.
It speaks to exposure.
And this is a city of exposure.
The importance of exposure.
Overexposure, perhaps, to a certain slice of humanity that I think if you're constantly mired in that is warping.
Let's talk about some themes. Alienation.
Oh yeah.
Travis is the ultimate outsider. He is unable to connect with anyone. And it's so interesting to me because, again, someone like me sort of chooses to be alienated, and it I'm not going to say it works for me, but I'm certainly not Travis Bickle. But on the other end of that spectrum, maybe not the complete opposite end, but certainly far away from someone like me, is this character who is, I think a big difference besides me not wanting to go out and kill people is he may want to connect and can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like there are moments when he tries in earnest.
Yes.
Because, sometimes you see people and it feels like, oh, you're a sociopath. You're performing what you think a human would do. And so you're trying to make these connections. That's not what I see in Travis. He seems like someone who is at times really wanting to feel something.
Yes.
But it's almost like he's too far gone.
He's too far gone, and he's taken the wrong path, but also because that's what alienation can do, is then you distinguish everyone else as being different in the problem, and that's where he's justifying this violence of, he's going to take revenge on the streets, and that's the problem with vigilantism as well, by and large. But his heart is in the right place. I think that he sees people in pain and that need help, and perhaps, is trying to be the kind of help that he wishes he'd had, kind of thing. And that's the most upsetting part of it, is seeing that the dark path that he eventually goes down.
Another theme is mental illness, obviously. And for a film made and set in the 70s where they didn't have all the language, it's still very clear that this character's deteriorating psyche is on display. And the film doesn't have to really label anything. We don't hear much about what he's been through. It's just very obvious that there's a lot of trauma. And
I think the mohawk I was reading was supposed to signify that, because that was not part of the original script, but signified something that was happening in Vietnam, where these special forces are kind of that had been trained specifically for killing would adopt this hairstyle at a certain point, and that was a signal to colleagues to stay far away.
Another theme is vigilantism, specifically this idea of like cleaning up society, which is what he seems fixated on.
This is 2 years after Death Wish.
Well, there's this line, and on one end you have your average neighborhood watch, like just concerned residents who's, if they see something, they'll say something. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have someone like George Zimmerman, who fatally shot Trayvon Martin. It's, like that line that turns into extremism.
Yes.
And we see that here very clearly.
Yes, and that's what's happened. Extremism, as opposed to radicalization, is when you are cut off from the social fabric, or become part of a social fabric that is mired in a specific toxicity that is about the denial of humanity. That's what happens.
Urban decay. You know what I was thinking? We reviewed a movie. I don't know if it was for Patreon or the podcast, but who's Josh Brolin's dad?
James.
A very handsome James Brolin running through New York City.
Night of the Juggler.
And how we get this perspective of New York City that is so amazing.
Yes.
I almost feel like we get that with Taxi Driver, but on the much more like dirty, chaotic, morally collapsing way.
Yes. Babylonic way. Yeah.
Yeah. Lastly, misplaced heroism, which is interesting because Travis is a veteran. Society is celebrating him as a hero because of what he did at that trap house. But that was not his intention necessarily, was to be seen as a hero. But then as a veteran, and this idea of stolen valor, I think it's interesting that this veteran has decided to take this route.
Well, and what that is saying too, we sent all these men to Vietnam and they came back and weren't met with, they weren't treated like heroes, but then, killing people here, that's what he's labeled as.
Well, yeah. And then you think sending 18, 19-year-olds to battle when their brains aren't even fully formed and they're seeing extreme violence, death, cruelty, just like unimaginable things these young people have to go through. They return and they're not given the support they need and require.
Yes, and then because of that has created this ripple effect of generational trauma that has assisted in creating what we have as a country now.
I'm not saying he's justified in what he's doing, but it's not surprising to me, like you said, that someone, and again, we're not given any background on his military record, but if he were in battle and he did kill people, yeah, how does a developing brain transition from I'm killing these people who are assigned as the bad guys and what I'm doing is good, and then I come back to my own home and I identify people as bad guys? You would think that the same would be true. Like, I need to eradicate them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very complex characterization.
Oh yeah. The score, Bernard Herrmann's last score, absolutely fantastic score. You know, Bernard Herrmann working with Hitchcock, De Palma. Oh my God, the Psycho and Sisters. Anyway, Bernard Herrmann, one of the best composers of all time, I think. He finished the score hours before he died. I mean, this is the deathbed score, and it is so good. And then paired with the cinematography from Michael Chapman, who Michael Chapman, you know, it's shocking. He never won an Oscar, but he also did Raging Bull, which is a Scorsese film that I will definitely be choosing as a podcast film in the future. It's so good. So good. Kathy Moriarty. Oh my God. Anyhow, Michael Chapman cinematography and Bernard Herrmann's score. It's just such a beautifully dark film. I mean, a lot of people call it a neo-noir, and I think that justifiably is so. I think it could be called a straight-up horror film. I thought it was interesting that during the middle of it, you mentioned that this would have made a good double feature with Jacob's Ladder, also about a nightmare film about a Vietnam veteran.
Apparently, Paul Schrader, the screenwriter, was inspired by his own loneliness, political assassinations that had occurred in the early 70s, and then also the diary of a would-be assassin, Arthur Bremer.
Yes, and I think De Niro said he was also prepping with that. You know, Schrader, who went on to become an amazing director as well. I remember when he was making Master Gardener, he described the women characters, one of whom was played by Sigourney Weaver, Norma, as what if the Jodie Foster and Cybill Shepherd characters in Taxi Driver got to interact. And then the end of his, you know, Man in a Room series, The Card Counter, and First Reformed, all kind of, and Master Gardener, all kind of end in that certain way of like there's there right before the credits roll, there's a chance of salvation between the lonely, destroyed man and maybe having a future. I mean, if you think of Joel Edgerton in Master Gardener, that's a man who's tried to rehabilitate himself, but is stuck in a certain place, kind of being unable to truly transform until the very end, maybe. Or American Gigolo, which I think we have a review out there for that as well, which is the film I absolutely love from Schrader. But to me, this feels more like a Schrader film than Scorsese, narrative-wise. Like it's very much in keeping with the things and the people he writes.
This film almost got an X rating for extreme violence, so Scorsese desaturated the blood color to avoid that.
Oh, it won. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying so hard to get through this. What are you going to say?
It won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival.
Okay.
And guess who the jury president was?
Who?
Tennessee Williams.
Oh.
And apparently it was booed.
Wow.
At the press screenings.
De Niro got a real taxi driver license in preparation. He worked 12-hour shifts driving a cab in NYC, and he lost weight for this role. He does look like, at a point, markedly thinner.
Oh, yeah. He's a skinny mini in this.
Apparently, the You Talking to Me scene was improvised. That was not in the original script. And later films that apparently were influenced by this were the likes of Joker, the 2019 film, American Psycho, and Drive.
Oh, Joker, of course. I mean, the Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, and also having De Niro in that film. Yeah, Gotham, it looks like late 70s New York.
My final thought is this is a really good character study on a man and how society kind of like ignores people, like collectively, like the system, whomever you want to blame for why people don't get the resources they need. And then when these people explode, it's like, how can this happen?
Right.
I feel like, I don't know, watch a movie like this. It seems pretty obvious how these things happen.
Apparently,
in some instances.
Scorsese said the camera work was influenced by Hitchcock's The Wrong Man, which is a pretty good Henry Fonda led film by him. But also, and this is a documentary I've never seen, A Bigger Splash from '73, which is about the artist David Hockney and his partner Peter Schlesinger, which I don't know why I've never seen that. I've known about it, but I didn't, before rewatching this, I didn't know that that was a visual influence. Apparently, I was trying hard to look for her, but apparently Debbie Morgan has an uncredited role as a girl at Columbus Circle, and I guess I missed her. I mean, it's a kind of a dark film.
What would you give Taxi Driver?
5 out of 5.
I would give it 4 out of 5. I think it's excellent. Okay. Who knows what's coming because I don't know when this is coming out, but I did just read on TMZ that Ving Rhames collapsed at a restaurant.
Oh, no.
So that's upsetting. I really like Ving Rhames,
I
and
do
Holiday
too.
Heart is one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
So hopefully the next time we actually record in real time, this will not have escalated.
Right.
So anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Ta-ta.